Another guy that has not been up to the big leagues yet, that has been on the radar of the Guardians, is rehabbing there as well. Joey Cantillo, take us through the type of pitcher that you've seen him and what we're seeing from Cantillo.
So Joey's not really on a rehab. He's on the Clippers roster. He did start the season injured. I was down there in spring training in Arizona just before the start of the season and did an interview with Joey. And not long after that, he had that hamstring injury, and it was a significant one. It had him on the shelf for almost 2 months. And he's back in the rotation now for the Clippers, and he's looked pretty good. 2.16 ERA. He's only made a couple of starts, 8 1/3 innings, but he has struck out 11. Like you were talking about, the command is still kind of being refined. The walks are higher than he is used to having, but the fastball velocity is good. He has a Bugs Bunny changeup. It is an outstanding changeup, a great curveball to go with it as well. Throws a slider. This is a guy that really has the tools, and kind of like Gavin Williams. If you told a scout to draw up a prototypical pitcher, well, he'd be the one from the left side. Big, tall, strong young man that has a 4-pitch mix and pretty good pitches, really, that can get outs, I'm sure, when it happens at the major league level. But again, starting basically from scratch, trying to build himself up. So he's not going deep into games yet either. He's not on the 40-man roster, but he's a guy certainly that is in the future plans for the Cleveland Guardians. And you just hope that he continues to build up, continues to have that success, and build his confidence. I think if he believes in himself and believes that his stuff is as good as it is, he has a really high ceiling.
Yeah, the you mentioned the changeup, and that's the thing that I have seen. That's like a plus changeup. It's elite among elite. So where is he at relative to how far he's getting into deep he's getting into games, and what does his velocity look like as well?
He's a guy that last year when he first came up to AAA, we would see touch 97, 98, but typically would sit 94 to 95 with the fastball, and he would be able to maintain that deep into his outings as well. He's been 95 at the beginning of his outings this year, and that has tailed off as, again, just like Gavin Williams, he is trying to stretch himself out and build that endurance to keep that velocity up through his outings. And the outings have not been full starters innings yet, and that's to be expected. After getting himself healthy, he made one rehab start out in Arizona and then joined the Clippers. And so he's been on the mound a couple of times now, still trying to build himself up. He hasn't gone deep enough yet to qualify for a win, but hopefully that's coming very soon.
And again, a guy that is certainly going to be on the Guardians' radar once he gets to that full pitch limit, because right now they're not getting 5 innings, 6 innings from many of their starters as well.
Yeah, and obviously that's a problem. Stephen Vogt wants to get starters to go 6 innings, maybe even go into the 7th inning. He has a real luxury and has all season long in that almost everybody in the bullpen is clicking on all cylinders, and they have really leaned on that group. I've said several times on our broadcast that I'm not sure if there's a better unit in the major leagues when you talk about position players, infielders, outfielders, catchers, starting pitchers, and relief pitchers. I don't think there's a better unit in the majors than the Cleveland Guardians bullpen staff. They have all been outstanding, yesterday's game notwithstanding, but you can only lean on that for so long, and you're going to wind up wearing those arms out. They're not meant to go that often for a full season. Everybody has a lull where the starters don't go deep. But for the Cleveland Guardians, it has, we're in the middle of June now, and they have only had really 1 or 2 runs where the starting staff has been able to go deep into the ball game. Now, they've had some off days recently. That has helped, but that's really not the case for the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think they only have 1, maybe 2 off days. So those starters are going to have to go deeper into games because until Williams is ready, Cantillo is ready, you do have Xavier Curry down here, and he's stretched out. And Curry's last 2 starts have been very, very encouraging, even last 3 starts. Earlier in the season, his numbers were not good at the AAA level, but he seems to have turned a corner. And so Xavier Curry obviously is a guy that the Cleveland Guardians know. They had him in their bullpen all year last year, and he's made some starts for them this year. And if it comes down to it, they're whether or not you are comfortable with your options, sometimes you have to just go grab a guy. And for the Cleveland Guardians, you have to figure out who that is if that need arises.